playing.
Cirith Ungol was back in the day, was one of those like second generation Sabbath bands. You know, them, Witchfinder General. There's another band with the guy with the annoying voice. The League of Satan. That guy. Who was that?
Oh God.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
but they
I
were
do.
all in that basket, all those bands. And a lot of people recognize them for that. You know, and they were like sort of like the generation before Candlemass and Trouble, things like that. It was like the second gen. It was like the immediately after Black Sabbath kind of doomy kind of bands. But Cirith Ungol, like they, you know, a lot of the bands are obviously from England or Germany. Like they were from Ventura, California, which is, you know, and I always like to call these guys new wave British heavy metal, and I like to still use that term on them. You know, even though, and I kind of made an argument about that. It's like they don't have to be from England to be called that. You know, no one agrees with me, but
I think everyone agrees with you.
no, I've had people, you know, other people that are really into new wave British heavy metal. Like, no, how can it be British? How can it be that if it's from New York or California? I'm like, because it's the same style. They're doing the same thing, and it's an era, not a geography. That's what I try to explain to people. And these guys, I want to call them that, right?
I would mostly agree. Some people call them Doom. They
Doom.
have some Doom elements.
Yeah, they're second generation Black Sabbath, of course, absolutely.
We were listening before. What you said they sounded like the Cars? I think.
They had a song. Okay, listen to their. Let's see, on their discography. Right.
I think we were listening to Frost and Fire.
It's probably Frost and Fire, yeah. So their famous album, Frost and Fire, it's the album everyone knows. They go very weird on that album. And there is one song, you know the song. I don't know the title of it. What can I say? Dun, 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 dun. And it has the sort of pop feel, even though it's still kind of a metal song, but it has like that bounce of a Cars song. And everyone in 1979 was trying to sound like the Cars, okay? Blue Oyster Cult was trying to sound like the fucking Cars because everyone knew the Cars were the shit. And I feel like these guys were like, yeah, that's a cool sound. And these guys were like not really totally 100% into the metal in 1981. You know, but let's not talk about their history. We're talking about them because they have a new album out since when?
Since 1991.
1991.
Paradise Lost.
1991.
This is they've been reunited for a few years now, but
right.
They've just been playing live. So this is their first album since reuniting.
They made an album, and they have only 2 original members from the day. I mean, technically, the singer.
Singer and the drummer. And
these guys, mind you, quickly are known. Their trademark is that singer's voice.
I guess I think the thing is like you brought up all those other bands, like you were saying they were part of this post Sabbath wave, but I think Cirith Ungol of all those bands was the most unique sounding. They had their own thing going on.
Yeah, especially with his voice. I mean, yeah, they weren't like totally trying to be like Sabbath all the time.
But another thing I think is you mentioned the bouncy, like. The music was like kind of bouncy and weird a lot of the time, and I think a lot of it was from the bass. It has like this bouncy bass element, which
a little bit funky.
We're gonna finally move on to this album, Forever Black, they released. Is I find totally missing, is they lost that element.
Well, I think in modern day they're trying to be a real metal band, like they're full on being more aggressive. The sound is more aggressive, and it's a good album. It's worth listening to. It's not one of these bands. Like when you get like Iron Maiden releasing a new album and you're like, I don't really want to hear. It's not that. Like you will want to hear that. You will want to listen to this.
No, it is good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Cirith Ungol, their 80s stuff. So for me, it's like it doesn't live up to that, but it did. I'm calling it old man metal syndrome. So like when you listen to like the new Iron Maiden or you listen to the New Testament that came out. Or like any new Metallica.
Those guys don't have anything to offer anymore. You know why? Because they're all so especially Metallica and Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden has a 747 they fly. Metallica. I mean, Testament maybe they work a little harder, but they're comfortable, right?
I have no idea.
These guys aren't. Can we agree on that?
Yeah,
These guys are not.
I'm pretty sure they just went on to normal Joe jobs after 1991.
I think they have a little more motivation to make an album that counts.
But. No, like it definitely has like a very authentic sound to it that the old man metal syndrome cancels out. They're not suffering from that.
No, they're being relevant, but in a good, obviously Metallica Testament always tries to be relevant, but it just never works, does it?
Well, they're just too up their asses. That's
Yeah.
the thing about old man metal syndrome is they're all like, they're holding themselves up to this like weird standard because they consider themselves really important.
Yeah.
You get this feeling.
Yeah, all those bands have that. They're like, they're
And
legends.
so they can't release like a fun album. They're like, everything I do has to have some like gravitas to it. And,
Yeah, they have
like,
to keep this
it
theme
also has to be
going.
really interesting, and like it also has to be better than everything else.
Yeah, but they have to
out
stick to
there,
that
like,
theme of theirs. They can't deviate. Where these guys have no, like they haven't released anything since 1992. So like here we're gonna do this, and it's heavier. And now you were telling me before it was responsible for a guy in the band named Jarvis Leatherby. That is one hell of a name. And he had joined he kind of was the guy that.
Well, he has a festival
Right.
that he runs. I think it's called the Frost and Fire Festival.
Okay, so
he
he's-
fucking loves Cirith
He's
Ungol.
probably like the biggest fan of Cirith Ungol ever.
And I think he was mainly responsible for them reforming. And when they couldn't get the original bass player, he was like, "Well, I'll do it."
His name is Jarvis
His
Leatherby.
name is Jarvis.
How
Thank
do
you,
you
Jarvis
get-
Leatherby.
How do you get that name?
Do you think it's a real name? It's got.
Now, does he have anything to do with Night Demon and Jaguar here? Like what?
Apparently, he's a Night Demon.
Oh, he's in Night Demon.
Yeah.
All right, so this guy's legit.
Uh,
Okay, Night Demon doesn't really sound anything like Cirith Ungol, but
Yeah,
no,
it's same
nevertheless.
family.
Yeah,
I'm
we
sure. I
say
wouldn't
it
be
comes from the
surprised
same-
anybody in Night Demon loves Cirith Ungol.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
so.
they do. But just yeah. So
So we do recommend this album.
there it is.
Um,
It looks like their old cover art. I wonder who's the artist. Is it the same artist that did?
that's
I wonder-
something I don't know about.
Yeah, I just kind of thought of that right now. What it was, I would have looked it up. It looks like their usual. They usually have that kind of sort of almost Frank Frazetta kind of art, but it's not Frank Frazetta. I don't think they can afford Frank Frazetta.
No.
But yeah,
No, it's good. I should listen to it some more, but it also didn't have any of those like real vocal hooks that they typically would have.
Yeah, he
I
had a
guess
lot more.
Maybe that's because it's less poppy and it's more metal than the
Yeah,
previous stuff.
he had a lot more. Like his voice was a lot more dynamic back in the day. It's not, he's old. You can't really do that anymore. It's not going to happen.
No, I thought his voice sounded good, but it's just the phrasing and the melodies that you're singing. Like, there's no like, I'm alive, and there's
I'm alive. You could tell it's the
there's
same.
nothing that like just like grabs you.
No, you
know?
could tell it's the same guy, but he doesn't have the power. He doesn't have like the moving around.
I think he could have done it, but I think it was a writing thing. That's what I'm saying. I'm not criticizing his vocal performance. That's just
Yeah,
what I'm saying. I'm saying it's a different approach to the writing.
What are you really going to be able to write when you're that old? I mean, how old is he? He's probably in his 60s.
I don't know.
So what are you really going to be able to come up with, as opposed to when you're like 19 or something? So, but yeah, no, it's worth and like I said, one thing I wanted to mention is they're kind of late to the pentagram party, as I like to say. I swear I'm going to do an episode one day, a playlist episode about the pentagram effect, about bands that came back because Pentagram did. Pentagram, of course, got that documentary probably about like 20 years ago, I think.
I mean, but this band didn't come back because of Pentagram. They came back because of Jarvis Leatherby.
Jarvis Leatherby.
They came back in the 2010s, okay?
But so many of those...
not in the same time
period.
period.
It was later. But so many of those bands that were like Pentagram, that were in the same boat as Pentagram, like also came back. Like all those old man bands everyone forgot about, like bands like Satan, bands like things like that.
Okay.
But... I call it the pentagram effect. It's a theory.
Is that
It's a
any band
theory.
that gets like dug up by somebody?
Yeah,
I mean, I would say that applies.
well, I don't know.
A younger guy dug these guys up.
No, I think that was
please
really
reform.
that was really the story. Maybe for these guys, and it's also kind of the story of Pentagram.
That
in
is
a
a
way.
story of Pentagram.
But for all those other bands, I think they saw Pentagram's success,
Okay.
and they're like, "Whoa, hey guys, what are you doing?" They're like, "What do you mean? What am I doing? I work a job." Like, no, look at Pentagram. Look at that. Look at fucking Bobby, that fucking crackhead.
He can
look
do
what he's
it.
doing. Like, you can't do that. Quit your job at the meatpacking plant. Come on, let's go. No, but I just work at the meatpacking plant. I work in Chicago. It's like the Blue Jean Committee. But anyway, so yeah, no, this is a good album. Definitely good album.
Good stuff. I don't know if he'll make my top 10 or anything, but we'll see. It's being considered.
Good to see them. They're all like, there was a lot, reminding me a lot of like Manila Road in a way.
Yeah, no, I get.
They're
They're
in
the
the same
same
basket.
They have like the same aesthetic. I feel
I think
like.
the guy from Manila Road died, though. I think he died.
I don't know.
I think it was him. Anyway, let's move to the next one. Why am I clicking on this? I need to click up here. What did it? Okay, so Warbringer has a new album out.
Warbringer.
Yeah.
This is their what is it, like 5th or 6th album?
Yeah, and they're also from Ventura, California. What a
got,
coincidence.
It was a big day for Ventura.
Yeah, Ventura, wherever
These both-
I imagine that's near LA or something.
Both came out on the same day.
Yeah.
New album is called Weapons of Tomorrow.
Weapons of Tomorrow. Now, as you know,
Seem
Warbringer.
to be continuing the theme.
Yeah, Warbringer likes, you just talk about like tanks and planes and stuff. They're like my band in a way, but they're not really political about it. They're just like tanks and guns and explosions, which is cool. That's fine. I gave the album a listen, and believe it or not, these guys are usually kind of thrashy in a lot of ways. But their new album, there's just a little bit of black metal going on there from a bunch of guys from Ventura, California. Just a little, not like true black metal, but it's they're flirting with, and not in a makeup kind of way. I don't think they're wearing makeup on stage. These guys, and how do you really combine that with their theme?
They would just have like the black metal blast beat with like the guitar
and the scales,
that riff. Like,
yeah,
I found it very jarring. They would just like abruptly go into like a black metal section, and
I was like,
I was like, what's happening? I thought this was thrash metal about tanks.
I didn't mind. I was like, look at that, you're doing a little black metal riff there. They're like, hey, watch this. This is so cool. They were like, this is so Cavolt. That's what they said.
I mean, these guys have been steadily churning out thrash since they formed.
Yeah.
So maybe they're trying to expand their horizons a little bit.
These guys are from that first wave of thrash revisionism in the early 2000s, like Municipal Waste and Toxic Holocaust, Midnight, like they all came out around that time. So did these guys. They all came around at that time, and they're still going. I think a lot of people didn't notice them until maybe like 10 years ago, like a lot of guys like this. But, they're still going. And, all that thrash, thrash has been going. It's the early 2000s, It's been going.
Did you enjoy the album?
Yeah, it was good. I was like, I got to see these guys at Dingbats. You were there.
Yeah, shout out to these guys for playing all the little clubs, coming to New Jersey.
Yeah, they opened for
they didn't open.
No, they were headlining. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they headlined.
Yes.
Why did I
all
think
the little
opened?
thrash babies were there for Warbringer.
Thrash babies. They were 20-year-olds that were.
There was a shit ton. There were a shit ton of young people.
They were especially there for Warbringer.
That liked,
Like that's what they really
this
wanted
band.
to say.
So.
Yeah, they were there.
I guess they're reaching the youth audience somehow.
Yeah, I mean, these thrasher kids. I don't know how I don't know how they got into it. They're like 20. It's like, how did you get into this? I don't understand.
I guess they're dads.
Maybe. I can't relate to young people's dads. Maybe like young people have like dads who are like, yeah, man, I like Anthrax. I don't know. I like Venom. I can't imagine.
Honestly, I don't know.
A dad liking Slayer. But I guess there's dads that like Slayer.
There totally are. Like, I see people on Twitter that are really young, and they talk about their dad, talking about the music with their dad.
My dad's such a boomer. He likes Slayer. I like Warbringer. Way better.
Honestly, the hip people on Twitter consider Slayer to be boomer metal.
Oh, totally is. Well, yeah.
Well, it is
that's
metal,
legit.
But sometimes I see a post. It's like, guys, it's okay to listen to Slayer.
Yeah, it's fine. Slayer, obviously, it's not. It's never not okay.
There are people who legitimately need to be told that.
Yeah, some people think that's the only thing. Yeah. Well, they're talking about those people that think Slayer, Metallica, Judas Priest, the big four, whatever. That's the only music there is. And those people, those tend to be older people that think that. It's not going to be a young person that really thinks that. But
anyway,
their influence here is pretty big. It's pretty expected. Got a Demolition Hammer in there. That's cool.
Warbringer doesn't do a ton for me, but it's a solid offering.
Yeah, they're legit thrash. So.
Come back to Dingbats. I will go see you again.
Yeah, absolutely. They're good. So check out their new album. Their new album looks like this, and it's called Weapons of Tomorrow. It's like future. It's like the future of warfare. They got like all kinds of things going on here. They got like helicopters and drones, and they got like the Blue Angels flying up here.
Kind of reminds me of the cover of the last Toxic Holocaust album.
No. The Toxic Holocaust album looked more like retro future. It looked like kind of low budget, like grind, like a little bit grindhouse.
Maybe it's just like the dude in the front.
This is cheesier.
For sure. Yeah.
They
don't have the
Toxic Holocaust
the
did it right.
Of Toxic
Holocaust. Toxic. Yeah, they're from Portland, so they're like these guys aren't. These guys. Ventura is probably not a cool place.
They're doing their best.
It's not Portland. But yeah, they got this is more like we really like all. This is like we really like all this stuff. There's nothing ironic about this. Like they're into this. They watch a lot of Rambo movies and stuff. They really dig this. So.
All right. And moving on.
What else do we got?
Moving on.
What else do we got?
My favorite thing
These
I've
guys
listened
are,
to recently, this is Witchtrap
Witchtrap.
with their 5th album, Evil Strikes Again. Did you not know that?
Oh, I fell into a trap. Witchtrap. I don't know.
This has been happening in Colombia this whole time. We had no
Colombia.
idea.
This is from Medellin, Colombia.
They are
Medellin.
a kind of black thrash speed metal band.
Very influenced by Venom. You know, that whole thing. They are very Euro thrash. Similar artists, perfect. Creator, Destruction, Sodom, Venom. I mean, perfect. Like down that sort of they have that evilness. This is about Euro thrash. Always has like an evilness to it, right? Like Creator, like Destruction,
as opposed to like
where,
Sneakers thrash.
Yeah, exactly. Big, like Overkill or stuff like that, Nuclear Assault, stuff like that. Like they never really went that evil route. Maybe
Aside
they were a
from
little bit
Slayer.
more. Maybe well, Slayer was definitely like really just a direct child of Venom. But especially the East Coast bands, they're more like the big sneakers, singing maybe more about politics or just stupid things. Whereas these guys weren't afraid to really sing about like satanic stuff. But these guys, their metal needs are like like I said, they're very simple. I mean, they're from Colombia, Medellin, and
Your Spanish accent.
Medellin. No, it's a Colombian. Medellin, and and they get a Euro pass. All right, they get the South American equivalent.
The South American pass is its own thing.
It is. It's true, and then the Brazilian thing might be even its own pass. Okay.
Okay.
So we won't. Well, that's a whole nother area of study. But they're like I said, their needs are very basic. They want Satan, good times, babes, beer, and maybe cocaine. It's fun. This thing is fun. They've been doing this since the 90s. They weren't recognized until this century. They kind of came up with the neo thrash sort of surge. Just the same, even though they were around before that. That movement probably helped these guys get really noticed.
I don't know how big these guys are.
I think they're, I feel like they're an influence on people. I think they're legit.
You think they're an influence?
Yeah, I feel like these guys are legit.
I feel like they've been toiling in obscurity.
I think the bands that, like, the more obscure bands that we like know who these guys are. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. Witchtrap. What is their number?
We're at $3,600 a month.
That's okay.
That's the same amount as Lady Beast.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right, so they're not huge. Okay.
Yeah.
They're underground.
Yeah, we should always from now on we gotta know. In fact, we should write it down right there on the list. What their plays are. It's very important. That just gives you really authentication as to really what level they're at. So we should always do that.
Yeah, like Warbringer's at $100K.
Yeah, Warbringer, obviously a legit band.
For comparison.
Yeah, there you go. There's
Anyway,
scale.
I really enjoyed Evil Strikes Again.
Evil Strikes Again.
It is very evil.
They wanted to get
very striking.
They wanted to get Ed Repka to draw it, but they could not afford Ed Repka.
This is all low budget. This is all real. This is all very authentic.
Yes.
It's very aggressive. I really enjoy the vocals, and it's got some awesome guitar, and it's black thrash, and that's my favorite genre. So
it is. Yeah, it is a perfect example of Euro black thrash from Colombia. Yeah, they asked Ed Repka, they're like, hey, could you maybe draw a Green Reaper with a spell book? And he's like, yeah, about, I'll charge you like $500. They're like, oh, that's too much. He's like, I was trying to be nice, guys. Yeah. So,
they have a song on here called Death to False Metal.
They
don't sound anything like Manowar, but...
No, it's not in a Manowar kind of way.
They also want to celebrate. They obviously enjoy the celebration of metal that Manowar.
And are they being ironic? It doesn't matter.
No, I don't think they are.
Yeah, I think they're like Death to False Metal. What the fuck is? What don't you understand?
We haven't discussed the shirt I'm wearing.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, she's wearing an old Manowar shirt that I was given for my birthday or something about 20 years ago. Maybe it's huge on me. It's huger on her. Today's old shirt that I'm wearing, my old I Hate God shirt from the 90s. Yeah, so it's a huge. It's one of the most. I never wore the shirt, because it has so much paint on it. It has so much silk on it, like whatever that shit is, the paint. That it's hard to wear.
Feels really gross.
It's like it's like you're in armor. It's like it's hard to like move around in. It's really uncomfortable. It's a really uncomfortable shirt. It's a ridiculously loud shirt. You know, like it's not a good. It wasn't a good move to make a shirt with that much paint on it. So
I should convert this to a dress.
Hmm?
I should convert this to a dress.
Well, I don't know if we should defile it. I should rip that shirt anyway. Maybe it's like worth money or something.
You think it's worth money?
Yeah, probably not.
It's not like it's from the 80s, okay? It's from the 90s.
Yeah, it's probably like the 90s tour. It's from the Hell on Wheels tour. I think that was in the 90s.
Hell on Stage.
Hell on Stage. That's a different. Hell on Wheels is a different one. They always have Hell on something. But how into hell is Manowar? I don't think. No, they're not, because Joe DiMaggio is like part of a.
Aren't they fighting hell?
Oh well, they sang songs about, like, they had that song. Great Satan, I know the one that waits. Satan, that was like pretty pro. Like,
That's pretty good.
Yeah, if you listen to that, like, you'd be like, oh my god, these guys are Satanists, like, straight up.
No, they're fighting Satan.
But no, not in that song. On that song, they're totally like upping Satan. They're totally promoting Satan.
Isn't that one where they're fighting him on a bridge?
That's it. No. They're saying like you have to join him. The Bridge of Death song from, I think
we should have a
from the Hail to England album.
Interpreting Manowar.
That's a good idea. We'll go over Manowar. We can't really play it though. No, we'd have to do it on our podcast. We couldn't really do it here. Like, I think Joey DiMaggio is part of the Knights of Columbus or something, which is, I think, is a Christian organization. But anyway, why are we talking about Manowar? Anyway, we just wanted to show you our shirts. What else do we got? Oh, okay. So the elephant in the music industry right now. What do we got?
Oh, I forgot about this.
Danzig has a new album. Did you know that? Of course you did. But it's not like, it's not the typical terrible Danzig album you have to sit through. It's Danzig doing cover songs, doing his favorite artist, Elvis Presley. Now, what can I say about this? It's really just Glenn and a guitar. And apparently, according to the personnel here, it's Tommy Victor, the guitarist of Danzig Prong. Very nice guy. Very nice guy. Talked to Tommy Victor once. Nice guy. Yeah, he's playing guitar for Danzig on this. And I believe it's just Danzig and him. It doesn't look like there's any other accompanying instruments. It's Elvis songs. So all of Elvis's songs, his famous songs, Glenn Danzig's doing in his own style. Now think of it as a more subdued, kind of darker envisioning of these songs, as Danzig would do. Danzig is a kind of guy who's
very dour.
Yeah,
Very dour.
Like, we compared the song, the Elvis version versus the Danzig, and the Elvis version, I have to say, had a lot more balls. It was a lot just more exciting. It was just meaner. Danzig was kind of like meh. What song was it that we compared? They're all the same.
I like that song.
Was it the Willie Nelson song?
Always on my mind.
Always on my mind. Now imagine Glenn Danzig doing it.
It's a very heartfelt song.
Yeah, and Glenn likes this. Now Glenn is a fan of this kind of stuff. Glenn loves Roy Orbison. He doesn't like rock music. He doesn't like
exactly a heartfelt singer though.
Oh, he thinks he is.
Or
but
maybe
in a dark way.
Maybe that's his hipster take. It's like, I'm gonna not sing this full of emotion.
Like he wants to take it into he's interpreting Elvis songs and Roy Orbison songs in their darkest kind of form. And whether Elvis or the writers of these songs or Roy Orbison were really thinking those, were really thinking those thoughts, Glenn takes those songs to the darkest place he could. He interprets them as the most darkest corners of humanity.
I didn't think Glenn's was that dark, honestly.
I bet you he thinks his are.
I thought it was like a hipster take for hipsters who have poor taste.
I don't know if hipsters would listen to this.
Oh, I think.
And ironically,
I think they would.
I think they might be like, oh, this is funny. He's kind of a butt of the internet jokes, Glenn Danzig. I mean, he's a butt of metal sucks, of jokes.
Yeah, but I think he's trying to appeal to people that make jokes about him.
Yeah, I think he's opening up, like he was on Portlandia. I think he's opening up a little bit, where he used to not really, have a sense of humor. I think he even lets you take pictures of him now. which he kind of that was probably he had to probably talk with.
He probably
some
had
lawyers.
to loosen up a little bit when he played
probably
with the
had
Misfits.
to talk with some lawyers about. Jerry Only's like, listen, let them take pictures. He's like, no, I'm not taking pictures of me. Jerry's like, we gotta make money, Glenn. Okay, you can't be throwing fucking people out for taking pictures of us with their fucking cell phones. And he's like, no, but they can't take pictures of us. No, Glenn, everyone has a cell phone. Like, what don't you understand about that? He's like, we can't stop it. He's like, oh, fine. It's like, just make your money and shut the fuck up. You like money, Glenn, right? So, yeah, that's probably what happened.
Anyway, did you like it?
It's listenable. I listened through it.
His voice is a little flat. I find it a little unlistenable when on those moments.
There were probably a lot of takes to get this done. Yeah, like when you listen to him live, when you see Danzig live, whether it was the Misfits or Glenn's, who we've seen recently, he's not. His voice is not there anymore. When he's in his 60s.
I was actually surprised when we saw the Misfits. I thought he was better than I thought he would be.
Yeah, he definitely worked on that. When I saw him as Danzig before that, a few years before that,
his stage banter was cringeworthy, but
yeah, no, his stage banter was non-existent. Like he didn't you could tell he did not give a fuck. Like he was not passionate. He was like, oh, what do you want to hear next? Like as if he's like, what do you want to hear next? He's just like, oh, what do you want to hear next? Astro Zombies? Like he just that's all he did. That is the only way he interacted with the crowd, which meant he did not give a fuck about being there. He was like, give me my paycheck and let's get this fucking over with. Like, so I don't have to deal with Jerry Only anymore. Like, that's all that was. Hey, and that's what he does. That's what happens. Okay? That's what happens in rock and roll. What are you gonna do? So, we have a picture? No, we don't have a picture. It doesn't matter. No, it looks like that. It looks like that, okay? It's like, it's got that, like, Elvis, live in Hawaii or something, or, that Elvis. It's trying to look like a record. It's saying 33 RPM. They didn't do a good job with that though. It doesn't look retro, does it? That doesn't look like it's an old album. He's trying to make it look like it's an old record.
No one would pose like that on an old album.
Yeah. He needs to make it look. Glenn, you needed to have a sense of humor to make it look retro. You gotta look cheesy. You gotta look.
I don't have a problem with the way it looks.
But he's trying to give it that look though.
It's just the typeface is old, but he just wanted to put it. But it's got him on it, and he's like, "This is what I look like. This is what Danzig looks like to himself in his mind." That's what I look like. So he wanted to put himself on there. Yeah, that's right. I don't have a problem with that. He should have looked sort of like 70s, but he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that kind of sense of humor. I think that's just really repulsive to him to deviate from his theme. Well, this whole thing is off because he's got his normal Danzig logo on there.
Yeah,
and
the
that
Danzig
doesn't
logo.
Look 70s at all.
No. He's always had that.
So he's just clashing all over the place on this thing.
Yeah, it's not consistent.
Speaking as a composition.
As a designer, I would keep the whole thing consistent. Keep a theme going, and there's really no theme there. So blah 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 blah. All right, is that it with our music reviews? That's it. You get it. Goodbye, everyone. Forever. Thank you for listening. No, we have news too. We have news.